Hello, in this video I want to talk about specificity and some of the issues that arrive when we have conflicts in our property declarations. Cascading style sheets. So cascading is like an important part of understanding how this works. And cascading is really an algorithm. And so the cascade algorithm determines priority first by order of appearance, then by specificity, which I'll talk about in a sec, and finally by importance. Okay, so let's start with order of appearance. And this one we've seen a bunch already. So if I say H1 color blue, and oh, I gotta add my style to this thing. Link rel style href. It makes it blue, and then if I go over here, change it to red, now it's red, right? And so order of appearance, where the last thing declared takes priority, which makes sense. So you think of the code as kind of executing from the top to the bottom. It says, oh yeah, make it blue, and then it comes down and make it red. So that one's pretty straightforward. The next one is specificity. And specificity is a little bit more complicated, and it's the thing that kind of drives people crazy. So if I have H1 and item 2, so item 2 is being declared before H1, but it's still kind of ignoring this declaration. And that's because the way this works is there are points assigned to elements, and those points determine the priority. And the points go, elements are the first bracket, then classes, then IDs, and then style attributes. So inline styles will always be more important than IDs, which will always be more important than classes, which will always be more important than elements. And there's handy calculators online which show how this works. So okay, so the calculator, you can put in your code and see which has more specificity. So if I go P space H1, this will be all children under, this code makes no sense, but all H1s under this P here. There's 2 elements, whereas this, my class, only has a class, but each level up kind of trumps what's underneath. So you could have a million elements, but it's in that bracket. Within that bracket, it's going to determine what gets picked. So P space H1 is going to have specificity over just P. But a class will have specificity over a bunch of elements. One div, it's still going to be more important. And then an ID is going to be more important still, right? So that's kind of how it works. And so for this class, do not use IDs. It's just going to complicate things. And try to use classes all the time, because it'll just make this issue much less of a problem. finally is importance. So importance is something to be used with caution, but it will, if you're having like, it's just like impossible and it's getting so complicated, you can use this as kind of like a last resort to make sure that your styling is doing what you want. But you got to use it with caution, because if I just do this again, we're right back where we started.